This is Eyewitness News 4.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Eyewitness News 4. Now, your Newsweek in review. We'll take a look back at this week's top stories. Albuquerque police spent most of its night Thursday and all of Friday morning at a crime scene on the west side where they found a burnt body. At around 6:30, a woman called 911 and told operators that she saw what she believed was to be a burnt body next to a bicycle at Sequoia Park. Gibbs APD spokesman Robert Gibbs says investigators believe the body was burnt elsewhere and moved to the location where it was reported. The remains were later identified as the body of 41-year-old Timothy Shirley. His cause of death is still unknown. The rail runner carried its 3 millionth passenger just earlier this week. The commuter service says it reached its 2 millionth mark 9 months ago. The rider was given a year-long pass to use for travel on the train and a gift basket filled with Rail Runner merchandise. The Rail Runner now averages about 4,500 passengers a day. Monday was also the first day of the opening of its 12th station on Kiwa Pueblo. This station will also provide bus connections with Bernalillo and surrounding pueblos. Winter in the Albuquerque area didn't go away without a fight this year. A snowstorm the day before the first day of spring brought cold weather to people in the Duke City. Interstate 40 east of Tramway was closed for over 15 hours, causing plenty of delays. A stretch of Interstate 25 north of Albuquerque was also closed for only a short amount of time. State police told us they responded to 47 accidents, 18 of which had injuries. A grand jury has indicted 38-year-old Ralph Montoya on 17 felony charges stemming from the slaying and stalking of his former girlfriend and her new boyfriend. The indictment alleges Montoya stalked Stefania Gray and Hector Torres in January, entering Torres' home armed with a knife and threatening the couple. It states also that he returned to the home on March 7th and that he killed the pair. Gray was a graduate of the University of New Mexico. Torres was a UNM professor. The body of a giraffe that was euthanized earlier this week was found dismembered in a zoo dumpster. Albuquerque's Mayor Richard Berry has ordered an investigation into how this could have happened. A debilitating leg injury led zoo staff to euthanize Koshka the giraffe last week. Instead of taking the giraffe to an area designated for dead animals at a landfill, a zoo worker put the dismembered giraffe carcass in a zoo trash bin. A garbage truck eventually took the trash bin containing the deceased giraffe to a local landfill. Albuquerque's Cultural Services Director, Betty Riviera, says the way Koshka was handled is shocking and not how beloved zoo animals should be treated. During her time at the zoo, Koshka gave birth to 6 calves. Mayor Richard Berry says he will take appropriate actions when he finds out whoever is responsible. Following up news we brought you last week on the Vaughn Company's Doug Vaughn. Doug Vaughn appeared in bankruptcy court Thursday to try and explain how he will pay back 600 investors over $80 million. Vaughn is accused of running a Ponzi scheme through his real estate business. Vaughn rushed out of federal courthouse after pleading the fifth at least 80 times in court when he was asked about closed bank accounts, properties he owned, and companies he'd owned. Doug Vaughn has been charged with fraud. He stepped down from the company shortly after it filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection earlier this month. The trial against suspected deputy killer Michael Astorga is set to begin soon, and his lawyer just entered a new piece of evidence into the case. His lawyer presented the docket with a new alibi for Astorga. 4 years ago this week, Deputy James McGrain was shot and killed during a traffic stop in the East Mountains. Astorga was locked up and accused of killing McGrain after being pulled over. Formal paperwork was filed by Astorga's attorney on Thursday announcing Astorga's alibi. In the upcoming trial, witnesses will testify Astorga was not in the area the night McGrain was shot and killed. His attorney says Astorga was at an Albuquerque home with those witnesses. McGrain died on the scene in March of 2006. Astorga was later located in Juarez, Mexico, 12 days later and charged with murder. The trial is set to begin May 3rd and could take up to a month. Be sure to keep up with all your daily news at KOB.com. That's all for this week. See you next week.